What's up guys, Jason here. In this video I'm going to be teaching you how to make a simple and efficient Minecraft Bedrock creeper farm. This farm works on 1.20 and on all platforms of Minecraft Bedrock, whether you play on a phone, tablet, Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, or PC. As you guys can see here, this farm allows you to easily get a lot of gunpowder. It also allows you to easily get XP. The materials list for this farm is in the description. The first step is to choose an area to make this farm at. I recommend you make this farm over an ocean, however it's okay if you make it over land. By the way, make sure you don't make this farm in a river biome. That is because creepers do not spawn in river biomes. If you choose to make this farm over land, build up about 130 blocks from the ground. If you choose to make this farm over an ocean, first go at least 130 blocks away from any land. After you are at least 130 blocks away from any land, go over to the ocean floor. Then place blocks from the ocean floor to the ocean surface. You can use any type of solid block that you want. A couple examples of solid blocks are smooth stone or cobblestone. The next step is to build up 130 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Once you are done building up about 130 blocks, go back down to the bottom. Now place ladders from here all the way to the top. These ladders will allow you to easily access the farm. By the way, the reason why this farm is made high in the sky is to prevent mobs from spawning below it. That will allow more creepers to spawn in the farm. After you are done placing those ladders, place a block over here and 2 blocks over here. Then place 5 blocks over here. Now place 3 blocks over here and 3 over here. Then place 3 blocks over here and 2 over here. After you are done with that step, you should have a platform that looks like that. The next step is to place 2 hay bales over here and 2 over here. Those hay bales will prevent creepers from dying of fall damage. Then place a piston at each of these spots. Make sure those pistons are facing the correct directions. Now place a redstone torch at each of these spots. Once you have placed those redstone torches, place an observer over here. Make sure the top barrel of that observer is facing that piston. Then place another observer over here. The top barrel of that observer should be facing that piston. Then place an observer at this spot. The top barrel of that observer should be facing that piston. Finally, place an observer over here. Make sure the top arrow of that observer is facing that piston. It's really important that your pistons, redstone torches, and observers are placed correctly. The next step is to place 4 solid blocks over here. Then place 3 over here, and 3 over here as well. The next step is to throw a trident at that piston. By the way, the trident can have any level of durability because it will never break in this farm. Then place your lever over here. Now flick it down. Once the pistons stop moving, flick it up. As you guys can see there, they should cause those pistons to move around infinitely. Now flick this lever down. That should cause the pistons to stop moving. That will be the trident killer in this farm. It will automatically kill all the creepers. The next step is to place a glass block over here and a stair at this spot. Make sure the stair is placed like that. Then place a trapdoor over here and open it. That trapdoor will allow you to collect the XP without the creepers seeing you. The next step is to count 4 blocks down from this spot. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now place 2 blocks over here and 4 over here. Now crouch down and place 2 chests over here. After you have created the double chest, crouch down and place a hopper at this spot. Make sure the nozzle of that hopper is facing downwards. Then crouch down and place a rail over here. By the way, it does not matter what direction the rail is facing. Then place a minecart hopper on the rail. The minecart hopper should be under that hay bale. Now place a block at each of these spots. That will be the collection system in this farm. The minecart hopper will collect drops from the trident killer. The hopper will then funnel the drops into that collections chest. Once you are done making the collection system, place a torch over here, torch at each of these spots, and torch at each of these spots. Those torches will prevent mobs from spawning on those areas of the farm. The next step is to place a block at each of these spots. Then build up 20 blocks over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once you are done building up 20 blocks, go back down here. Then build up 20 blocks at each of these spots as well. After you're done with that step, the farm should look like that. The next step is to place a block at each of these spots. The next step is to place 8 blocks over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then go over to this side. Now place 8 blocks over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now go to this side. Then place 8 blocks over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Finally go to this side. Then place 8 blocks over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. After you are done creating that outline, fill it in with solid blocks. Once you're done with that step, the farm should look like that. The next step is to create 1 block high wall around that platform. After you are done creating that wall, place stairs on the wall. Once you're done with that step, the farm should look like that. At this point, I recommend you make an infinite water source. To do that, go to one side of the farm, then place 4 blocks like this. Then place blocks around those blocks. Now place water over here and water over here. By creating that infinite water source, you will be able to use 2 buckets to fill in all the water for the entire farm. Now place water in each stair. After you are done with that step, the farm should look like that. At this point, fill in and break the infinite water source. The next step is to place a layer of blocks behind the stairs. These blocks will prevent light from shining through the stairs. After you have placed those blocks, the farm should look like that. The next step is to place slabs on those blocks. After you're done with that step, the farm should look like that. Those slabs will prevent mobs from spawning on those blocks. The next step is to go over to this corner. Then count 1 block out diagonally. Now place down 4 solid blocks. Now break these 3 blocks. The next step is to place 2 blocks over here, then break this block. Now place 2 blocks over here, then break this block. Now continue placing blocks in that pattern until you are 2 blocks away from that side. After you're done with that step, the farm should look like that. The next step is to place 14 solid blocks over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Once you have created that row, place 14 blocks at each of those spots as well. After you're done creating those rows, place a block at each of these spots. Now count 2 blocks to the right. 1, 2. Then place a block at each of these spots. Then continue placing blocks in that pattern until you get to that side. After you're done with that step, the farm should look like that. The next step is to place a button in this corner. Then count 2 blocks to the right. 1, 2. Then place a button over here. Now do that again. Then continue placing buttons in that pattern until you get to that side. Once you're done with that step, count 2 blocks up from this spot. 1, 2. Then place a button at each of these spots. Now continue placing buttons in that pattern until you get to that side. These buttons will prevent spiders from having enough room to spawn in the farm. After you're done placing all those buttons, the farm should look like that. By the way, it does not matter what direction the buttons are facing. Just make sure they're at the correct spots. Now place a button in each hole. These buttons will cause creepers to walk into the water. That is because they see buttons as full blocks. After you're done with that step, the farm should look like that. That is the first creeper spawning layer in this farm. Now go over to one corner. Then crouch down and place 2 blocks over here. Now break this block. Then create another creeper spawning layer at this level. This layer should look exactly like the layer below it. After you're done with that step, the farm should look like that. As you guys can see there, the second creeper spawning layer should be aligned over the first one. The next step is to create 2 more creeper spawning layers. Each creeper spawning layer should be 2 blocks above the one below it. After you're done with that step, the farm should look like that. Each of the creeper spawning layers should be 2 blocks above the one below it. Also make sure all the creeper spawning layers are aligned over each other. You should also make sure that you place the buttons at the correct spots on each layer. The next step is to go to one corner. Then crouch down and place 2 blocks over here. Then break this block. Now place 14 blocks over here. Then place 14 blocks over here. After you have done that, fill in that outline with solid blocks. After you're done with that step, the farm should look like that. The next step is to go down here. Then place a trapdoor above each block that does not have a button on this layer. These trapdoors will prevent skeletons and zombies from spawning in the farm. That is because they are too tall to spawn under the trapdoors. After you are done with that step, the farm should look like that. The next step is to place trapdoors above each block that does not have a button on all the other layers as well. After you're done placing all those trapdoors, the farm should look like this. Each block on each layer that does not have a button should have a trapdoor above it. The next step is to go over to this corner. Now place 14 blocks over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once you are done placing those 14 blocks, extend that wall around the farm. By creating these walls, the farm will be dark. That will allow creepers to spawn even when it's daytime. After you're done creating the walls, the farm should look like that. The next step is to fill in any gaps in the roof with solid blocks. Once you're done with that step, the farm should look like that. The next step is to place slabs on the roof. These slabs will prevent mobs from spawning on the roof so that more creepers will spawn in the farm. After you are done placing those slabs, the farm should look like that. I am now going to do a quick fly around so that you can check and make sure you've made this farm correctly. The top of the farm should look like that. Inside it, there should be these creeper spawning layers. By the way, this area should be dark. The reason why it looks bright right now is because I have night vision. This is how dark the inside of the farm should look when you don't have night vision. It's important that you placed all the buttons and trapdoors at the correct spots on each layer. Also, make sure the layers are aligned and that each layer is 2 blocks above the layer below it. Over here, there should be the water that flows towards the kill chamber. Finally, down here, there should be the trident killer and collection system. I am now going to show you how to use this farm. To use it, first flick this lever up. If the trapdoor looks like that, make sure you open it. It is important that the trapdoor is like that so that creepers cannot see you. Now stand over here. Then just wait, creepers will spawn on the creeper spawning layers. They will then eventually walk into the water. Once they're in the water, they will get pushed into the kill chamber. Whenever a creeper falls into the kill chamber, it will get automatically killed. You will collect the XP over here, and all the loot will get funneled down into the collections chest. If you want to get more loot at a time from this farm, I recommend you hold a sword that is enchanted with looting 3. That will cause the looting 3 effect to be applied to the trident. Whenever you are done using this farm, flick this lever down to shut it off. You can collect all the loot down here. If this farm does not work for you, try switching your world difficulty to peaceful and then to hard. Also, check to see if any mobs are spawning below the farm while you stand on this platform. If there are, you should light those areas up where they are spawning below the farm with torches. If you don't want to do that, another option is to try setting your world simulation distance to 4 chunks. You can do that by leaving your world then going into the world settings. If mobs other than creepers spawn in this farm, make sure you place all the buttons and trapdoors at the correct spots. If you want to make this farm more efficient, you can add more creeper spawning layers. If you choose to do that, make sure you also extend the walls and the roof up. I hope you enjoyed learning how to make this simple and efficient Minecraft Bedrock creeper farm. Please like, comment, subscribe, and check out my other Minecraft videos. Thanks for watching.